Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Thanks for joining the channel if you've already done so. If not, please hit that subscribe button in the bottom of your video in order not to miss any lectures on Q&A from my free courses. You can join free course anytime. The details will be available in the video description. And today we are going to cover the accounting functions from spreadsheets. You will use those functions like 80% of your time, and that will basically close all your knowledge gap related to the spreadsheets. Well, these are some, but I assume you already know that one if you ever done something with the help of spreadsheet. Autofilter, lookup, SUMIF, SUMIFs, pivot table. So for the sum, let's do a short demonstration for someone who is not familiar with the spreadsheet. We can go to balance sheet here, click that amount. We see that sum is already here. So in order to replicate that, we just print sum and select the range for sum, and we get sum. That's pretty easy. The next one is autofilter. So what is autofilter? Imagine you have a big list of transactions like that one, and you need to filter some particular account from that list, or some particular period, or some particular entry number. How you can do that? You can go to data and click create a filter, and you need to check that filter selected the range you need. For example, you need to remember, if you start doing new entries here, they will probably not be included into existing filter, and you will have to redo that. But we are fine with our current setup. So for example, if we need to see what impact did all those transactions have on cash balance, we go and unselect, clear selection for everything. By default, everything is selected, and we select just cash. Press OK, and we see number of the entry, debit or credit, account, so pretty much everything which impacted cash. And if we select it, here on the bottom we will see the total for the cash. So that's pretty much it, and you can play with something else. So like you can select all here, and what can we do? We can go by amount and select like the smallest and the biggest number, and just see what was it. So we have the biggest monetary amount on the buildings, and smallest like credit amount, biggest credit amount. So credits are negative in this list on the mortgage. Okay, so let's keep it as we find it, the complete table, unfiltered, and go check what other function we have here. And it is lookup. When do you use lookup in accounting? And what does lookup do? So lookup goes over the table of a data, over multiple rows in the data table, and finds one value which corresponds to that table. Like for example, if you look up for cash value in that table, it will not pick up all those caches. The other function, SUMIF, will do that. So it will only pick up first occurrence of cash, or maybe the last one, depending on what area you select. When do we use lookup in accounting? We use lookup in accounting when we need to associate a selection of smaller accounts with some aggregated accounts, and that whole thing is called mapping. For example, here we have trial balance account. That's a big range and many different accounts. For example, we have accounts receivable trade and accounts receivable other, and prepaid, and all of that on the balance sheet. So balance sheet is more aggregated compared to the trial balance. So in order to map trial balance account to the balance sheet, we need to keep that mapping somewhere, and then when we need to do the actual task, we go to trial balance and we look up, for example, look up. So we select the criteria first, and then we select a table from which we want to pick the criteria, and that will be from here to here. We need second column in that range, and at the end we put 0 by default. So that way it looked up, so it looked for cash in that table and selected whatever match the cash in that column. For example, if we let's see what happens if we change cash criteria. So first of all, we need to change the selection. So we go all the way here and we select third column and 0 at the end. So it picks up x2, and if we change that to 4, it will pick up amount from 4th column, which will be x3. But let's get back to normal, x2, and let's update everything what we have here. Okay. So the next function, after we did the mapping, we can do what? We can SUMIF. We can use SUMIF and SUMIFs function. So SUMIFs, it picks up one criteria. SUMIF picks one criteria, and SUMIFs can pick multiple criteria from multiple columns, and it sums all the amount which match that criteria. So let's go to trial balance, and I've already have a number here, but I will delete it. And let's say we need to pick up and sum all the cash impacts from our transaction list. So what we will do to accomplish that? We will do SUMIF, and we will go to transaction list, and we will see that we have criteria in that column. We take comma, so we selected the range. If you look here, it says range. Then we need to select a criterion, so we need to go back to that page and select that criterion, and then we need to select the sum range, the range where we have all the amounts we want to sum with, and let's press enter, and we got 23,000. Let's do a quick check here, and auto filter will help us to do that. So we will filter cash. So clear all, go find cash, OK, and sum all these. We can just select all these amounts, and you will see here that the sum is 23,000, which is exactly what we got with the SUMIF. Now we use SUMIFs, and that's interesting. For balance sheet account, you need to use SUMIF, because balance sheet accounts are permanent accounts which sum transactions from the first day of the entity's existence, while P&L accounts are periodic accounts which you need to calculate every accounting period, like month, quarter, or year, and at the end of the period you calculate your net profit and you close that net profit amount to retained earnings. So let's see what we have here. We used SUMIF, and let's just delete it. So SUMIFs, and it says that the first column which you need is sum range. So let's go to transactions tab and select a range with amounts. Here it is. And the second, we need to select criteria ranges, and we can select many. So the first one we will select will be account, and we go back here and we select revenue account. And the second one we need to select is period, because it's P&L account which needs to be closed every period. And we go back here and we select period here and we close. So yeah, we got minus 5,000. Let's check ourselves with auto filter. So we got revenue here, and we have only one entry here. So let's do a quick experiment while we have some time. If we change that to period 2, let's go. We have 0 here because it's our second criteria and it just doesn't sum with the amount. And if we change it back to period 1, it will change back to minus 5,000. And the last topic on our list is pivot table. And to make a pivot table, we need to unfilter that first. And we select the range. Let's select it here. And we go to the data pivot table. Let's create it on a new sheet. Okay, so here we can create like a 2-dimensional, or someone can call it 3-dimensional table, which will have rows and columns. Let's select the rows. Let's say we want trial balance accounts to be the rows. And you see we have like every different row, we have it here, including the accounting problems. Then we can add values, which will be, okay, let's move myself out of here, amounts. And we have the amounts here. And for columns, let's add debits and credits. So we see debits and credits here, and let's say we also want to remove the accounting problems. To do that, we need to go to the filters and add, let's say, amount. So we know that a task description will not have an amount, so we just remove blanks from here. And that way we get a nice, like a general ledger here. And you see that debits, balance, credits, and everything looks fine. Thank you. I remind you, you can join the course anytime, even after the beginning of the course. All the necessary links will be provided in the data. Please subscribe to my channel and have a great day. Bye bye.